Nattanun. You can call me Danny because my nickname Dong. And your name is Surgery. Surgery. Okay. And today my article paper, the name is Gamification for Developing Media Literacy about online gambling among university students in Bangkok and perimeter. And thanks for support from Thai University, AIT and ICSLE. It's okay. And my article paper, I have the question. Next, why are young people around the world becoming addicted to online gambling? Is this due to media propaganda? And how can we discover ways to prevent this issue? Next, the question is, which country do you believe employs a marketing strategy that appears to use teenagers and adults, making them most attracted to online gambling games conceived within other games? Next. Yes, this is map of the world. Let's guess. Which country? Brazil, Canada, Russia, China, Kazakhstan, Syria, Argentina. Which country? Your opinion?
Australia?
Australia maybe? Yes.
Portuguese.
Portuguese? Yeah?
Russia.
Russia. Wow. And you? China. Oh, wow. Next.
Mexico.
Mexico. China. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next. I wouldn't be able to answer this question because okay, you know that, and in your opinion, that's which country. But the reason is the advertising of gambling infused games to both adolescent and adult has sparked growing apprehension within several nations. But in my information is like a shy. Okay. Employing a spectrum of persuasive strategies, these promotional efforts aim to captivate players that thus encompass inducements like bonuses and incentives, capitalizing on social dynamics for competition and liberation. Time-limited offers to invoke a sense of urgency. Next. Okay, about game. Game progression system. Yes. Virtual commodities and personalized encounters are additional avenues harnessed to sustain player engagement. The incorporation of gambling-like components such as near victories, fair a deceptive sense of potential success, while loyalty initiative and push notifications serve to sustain player adhesion. By showcasing social validation and intertwining promotional content with unrelated platforms, the other depends. Counterbalancing these strategies are involving regulation designed to safeguard susceptible demographics encompassing age-related constraints, candid purchase disclosure, and curves on marketing methodologies. Next. It's important to note that many countries and regions have regulations in place to address the issue of persuasive advertising for gambling-related games. especially when it comes to protecting minor, our child, our son, our granddaughter, our grandson. This regulation might involve age restrictions, clear disclosure of in-game purchases, and limitations on the types of advertising and marketing strategy that can be used. Next, my abstract. This research investigated factor influencing online granting among university students in Bangkok and perimeter, using mixed methods including discussions, interviews, and questionnaires from July 2022 to March 2023. And next, key determinants such as gender, age, study, location, motivation, emotional intelligence, and self-esteem were identified, shaping students' attitudes and behavior towards online gambling. Next. The study suggests innovative strategies like gamification for media literacy campaigns to enhance students' critical thinking and resistance to online gambling propaganda, offering valuable insights for educators, policymakers, and stakeholders in addressing this issue. My introduction. The Ratchanakharin Institute of Child and Adolescent Mental Health in Thailand conducted a study revealing that online media and the internet significantly contribute to adolescent online gambling issues, exposing both genders to potential risk. It is imperative to safeguard college students by enhancing their media literacy and awareness, enabling them to resist the allure of online gambling and understand its unrealistic nature. Empowering students with knowledge can neutralize gambling apps, strategies, and protect them from falling victim to online gambling. Next, this literature review examines online gambling behavior among university students, considering students' characteristics, motivation, and influencing factors. It recognizes diverse experiences, societal norms, and challenges like those faced by LGBTQ+ students. And the relationship between knowledge, attitudes, and engagement in online gambling is explored, indicating that greater risk awareness generally corresponds to more negative attitudes and reduced participation. Motivations, both motivation intrinsic and extrinsic, are significant drivers of university students' online gambling activities connected to Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. Basic needs and higher level needs play a role in shaping their behavior. Next, this review has implications for educators, policymakers, and mental health professionals, underlying the importance of targeted interventions to foster responsible behavior and mitigate potential risk tied to online gambling among university students. The atmosphere of collecting research data from my students and my expert. Next. Research result and discussion. Research result and discussion. The study reveals that students perceive online gambling as choices rather than scam. then awareness. Yeah, leading them to willingly engage due to the fear of new experiences and a lack of perceived risk. Yes, this challenges conventional teaching methods, prompting the suggestion of interactive approaches, including gamification, to educate about online learning dangers, real-life experiences, particularly from celebrities, are proposed as engaging tools. Surprisingly, legal measures are not seen as effective deterrents. We cannot work. Yeah. To enhance media literacy, gamification is recommended, enabling students to grasp risk, develop critical thinking, and make informed choice. Strategies for recognizing online gambling propaganda include source credibility assessment, skepticism towards games, seeking balanced messages, and practicing responsible gambling. These efforts aim to equip students with skill for responsible decision making in their online activities. Yet, in conclusion, gamification offers a promising approach for enhancing media literacy regarding online gambling among university students in Bangkok and perimeter. The proposed game is just example. Media literacy quiz is a multi-level educational tool that immerses students in real-world scenarios to foster their understanding of online gambling dynamics, critical analysis of media content, and evaluation of information credibility. Yes. And next, in media literacy quiz, yes, navigate through various levels by correctly identifying misleading information, analyzing media bias, and evaluating sources. Earn points by making informed choices, and progress through the game by honing critical thinking skill in the realm of media consumption. Example, yes. Oh, propaganda. Yes. Example, in an online gambling game, a pop-up ad claims, "Win big and change your life forever. Join now and become a millionaire overnight." Oh, really? This is very dangerous for our teenager, for our child. Yes, our family members. Yeah. This example is misleading because it exaggerates like the likelihood of winning and the potential outcomes of playing the game. Such messages often omit the risk involved in gambling and create a false sense of success, enticing players to participate with unrealistic expectations. This type of propaganda may exploit individuals' desires for quick wealth and downplay the negative consequences of gambling addiction. By navigating challenges, making informed choices, as accumulating points, students develop essential skills in discernment and decision making within the digital media landscape. This gamified study aims to empower students with the capacity to think critically and confidently when encountering online gambling related content. Yes, The researcher is me, and my co-researcher is professional luck. The researcher is me. Is looking forward to obtaining results from the data collection involving adolescents themselves. These results are expected to have practical implications for implementation in countries all around the world. That is the point, it's the main point of my research paper in this issue. Yes, and thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give a big applause.
Thank you very much.
Okay, from the floor, any questions? Yeah, actually, this is very interesting. Yeah, when I read the titles, this is very interesting. From the online one, any question for Mr. Dani? From one in the Zoom? Anyone in the Zoom? Any question? Okay.
If no question, I can ask my question myself.
No, I have a question actually. Yeah, because this is very interesting. First, I want to know about definition of gamblers. Who is the gamblers in this respondents actually? Is it when student one time using the gambling, they play gambling, they play gambling online one time, is it your respondent or any requirement? So you said, oh, this is the gamblers. Why I ask this one? Because in Indonesia, gamblers is not a good culture. If someone know you are a gambler, they will be, quote unquote, leave it you. They will not become a friend or something like that because they avoid have a friend using as a gambler. Okay, thank you, Mr. Dan.
Yes, thank you for your question. And first of all, I would like to express my opinion on the important points. I know your question, but I want to explain about which can be summarized as follows. Yes, that I want to tell my share and everyone in this room about creating an engagement to raise awareness of social media propaganda involves defining objectives, choosing the right game format, and developing a compelling narrative. Yet the game should incorporate educational gameplay mechanics, where players interact with and learn about identifying fake news, propaganda techniques, and the consequences of misinformation. Real examples of propaganda should be showcased with immediate feedback and explanation provided for player actions, and including learning resources and encouraging social sharing can extend games' impact. Engaging visual, audio, and user testing are crucial for polished experience. Upon release, effective distribution and promotion, as well as measuring impact through metrics, will help assess the game's success in educating about social media propaganda. That is the main point that I want to tell someone to help in this point. And each other we different behavior to play the game online. We have different culture. I think we have Thai, we have Indonesia, and our friends from around the world. Yes.
Sorry, may I ask his co-researcher regarding your answers? Thank you. Regarding your questions in Thailand it's different because as Nattanun said, even normal students they play games and online gambling as a regular activities and they're familiar with it since they are kids. Because of the culture of gambling in Thailand is quite physical gambling.
Yes.
The guard and everything is surrounding them. It's like we have gai chon, I don't know what is it. It's like a chicken fight and cow fight, and they bet on that. So that kind of the gambling activity absorbed into the culture, I would say. So the student is familiar with how to play gambling, and some people think that gaming
Yes.
is the same thing with the gambling. They don't think it's wrong. And in Thailand, we don't like just people that okay you pay online gambling and I don't want to see you like in the future. But it's wrong in terms of the law. But doesn't take like real.
Yes, it's really dangerous because game-related gambling.
Yeah, that
Yes.
would be fine because it's come together, and students, some people that we have the collect data from, they play for get the tuition free to study. Yeah, exactly, and they just like I don't know, like รับจ้างเนาะ What can we
Yes,
say?
yes,
It's like,
agent.
It's like the game agent as a career.
Okay.
Since they are in high school, and they think that there's nothing wrong with that because they know when to stop. They think they can control themselves. So yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Yes, I think there is different cultures. Yes, yes, okay. Okay, I think again, last anyone from the floor if you want to ask something for Mr. Denny. If no, I think.
Now I have the last one. Yes. Okay, my
Sure.
share. I have time. The result of this research surgery will be more successful if they are actually applied according to the environment and culture of each country. That is the point. So I would like to leave this point with thanks to everyone who listened today and wish you tangible benefits in the future. Tangible benefits in the future. And thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give applause. Thank you. Okay, now let's we continue for the second articles. Wang means you are ready?
Yes, I am.
Can you turn on your video so we can see you? Okay, where are your location? Where's your location now?
Can you see me?
Yeah, where is your location now? You are in Thai or China or where? Well, you can see us? Hello?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay. So, you remote from your countries? China or something else?
I'm Chinese.
Okay. Okay then, I think the Zoom is yours. Let's start. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Wang from Guangxi Normal University. Today I'm reporting to you research for Hotspots of International Learner Modeling Visualization Analysis based on the literature of websites retrieval database from 2029 to Junior 2022. I will report through the above four parts. The first part, research background. I do this research have three reasons. The first is the demand of the times for talent development. The second one is the college push forward new requirements for talent training. The third one is the outbreak of the novel coronavirus has catalyzed the transformation of the learning paradigm. And in the context of digital transformation, education and teaching research will increasing characteristics like this. The above changes are closely related to learner modeling research. Therefore, we do this research to find out to explore the frontiers and hotspots of learner modeling. The second part is the concept definition. Learner modeling is the core of personalized learning support service. Learner modeling is the process of collecting, analyzing, meaning, and constructing the corresponding digital model of learners' knowledge and skills, cognitive behavior, emotional experience, and other characteristics, and constantly updating the learner model. Schools in the field of intelligent tutoring research also call learner modeling student modeling. Teaching researchers in the field of hypermedia and web applications refer to learner modeling as user modeling. The third part is the research ideas. First, we using the website collection as the retrieval database, learner model, learner modeling, student model, student modeling as author keywords and keywords class in limited year to 29. This wrong, sorry. Then in the limit year 29 to 2022, we searched 21 SSCI source journals with influence in the discipline of educational technology and obtained data such as full reports and cited references of 2089 articles from 50 journals. But second, we by using site-based with viewer and pages software to draw knowledge maps of the above literature. This paper explores, classifies, and discusses the hotspots and frontiers of research on international learner modeling. The fourth part is the research analysis and conclusions. Firstly, we define the distribution of academic journals. Two journals, computers and education, and educational technology and society, have a great impact on the research field of learner modeling, as shown in the table. Secondly, we found that it can be seen that the United States, Taiwan, Australia, and Malaysia and other countries and regions have more research on international learner modeling and have great influence. Thirdly, we found that from the distribution of academic research institutions in Table 3, the research on learner modeling in China, the United States, Malaysia, and other countries has a certain international influence and occupies a certain academic positions. In order to further explore the cooperation between academic research institutions related to learner modeling and the research topics focused on the voice viewer visual software was used to draw the institutional cooperation map. At present, the research on learner modeling has roughly from 5 types of academic institution groups. Fourthly, we found that according to the number of publications and the degree of intermediary centrality, the top 9 high-yield and high-impact scholars were analyzed as shown in the table. The fifth, we found as the research frontiers. The literature co-citation map drawn by site-based visualization software can reveal the research hotspots and frontier evolution. As shown in the figure, it shows the keynote literature and its clustering distribution in the frontier evolution of international learner modeling related research. Sixthly, we also found that the research hotspots. The keyword occurrence map can reflect the current and past research hotspots in a certain field. One is the learning environment modeling and learner emotion modeling. The second one is the learner community modeling. The third one is learner dynamic modeling, and fourth is the application of learner modeling. The fifth one is the learner domain knowledge modeling and evaluation. The comprehensive use of voice view and page visualization software to draw a preference overlay map of website view for the 289 international learner modeling related literature in this study, as shown in Figure 2. It can be seen that the current research on international learner modeling presents an interdisciplinary research trend. My report ends here. Thank you.
Okay, let's give a big applause. Thank you. Okay, any questions from the floor? Okay. Mingwan, I have one question actually, just curious. What is your justification you decide for the year 2009 until 2020? Why not start from 2000s? Any justification for that? Yes. Maybe you is it you find the learner model just start from the 2009? Yeah, like blockchain just raised or born from 2004. So you start the your article search from 2004. Is it like that?
We found that there were more articles published during this period, and the paper's topic is focused on the five topics. So we want to explore this field research. This field research about the learner modeling. What can?
Okay, I think if I see or read from your articles, you found you ever searched maybe from the 2000s, but maybe the first time the learner model is start from 2009. I just guess it. Yeah, I think Ming-Wan, thank you. Okay, let's give applause for the Ming-Wan. Thank you, Ming-Wan. Okay. Okay, now we come to the last one. Is it Khushbu Tilfawala? Are you in the Zoom?
Yes.
You are in the Zoom?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think time's yours.
Thank you. I'll just share my slide. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see it. Okay.
Thank you very much. Greetings from New Zealand to everyone there. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to present. So I just want you to consider that picture there. This is an image from the game, Grand Theft Auto. And I want you to think about how a child feels when they play a game like this. Research shows that this is quite typical after a child has played a violent game or a game that has aggression in it. They tend to do the same in their real life, which means there's a positive relationship there. And the more they do this in the real world, this gets reinforced back in the game. So you find that if you exemplify this sort of behavior in the real world, there's more aggression, then that loops back and you tend to play again with a bit more aggression in there. So that's the motivation and the background of this research. And if we look at what researchers said, back in 2014, there was an empirical study that showed that children that played violent games showed aggressive behavior, and similarly, children that played pro-social games were showing more helpful behavior. So in this research, we propose that children, and we've called them the young here, and we've taken the UN definition that classifies the young as being those between 0 to 8-year-old. And we're saying that if these young people play what we call values-based digital games, games where we've intentionally put in values, then we would have good citizens and sustainable individuals. But trying to unpack this and understand this needs us to look at it from a long-term perspective, or needs us to have a systems view, which leads us to the title of this presentation, a systems view of values-based digital games that I'm here to present. So as you've introduced me, I'm Khushbu, but I'm presenting this on behalf of Professor Michael Myers and Professor David Sunram, who is also with us in the audience today. So, just to unpack those words a little bit, values. So when we think of values, these are our central desires or beliefs. These are normally things that we rely on when we make our day-to-day decisions. And each one of us has a value system. Whether we think of the more universal moral values such as telling the truth in different instances, choosing whether you should tell the truth or lie, sharing with people, being kind, or even if you look at the bigger values that are related to sustainability, such as saving water, electricity, and so on. And the thing about values is that most of us develop our value system when we are young. So it's these early years between the ages of 0 to 8 where most of our values are built or our value systems are formed, and they tend to change very little after that. One of the things that is essential in this value formation is play. We all play as children. We actually really like to play as adults as well. But we learn a lot as we play, and so play is an important construct in value formation. And if we think of the digital age or the world we live in today, then a lot of that playing is now happening in this digital space through digital games. So we acknowledge that in this research, and that is why we are really interested to see what the potential of values-based digital games is. So we define values-based digital games as those that help us convey, instill and practice values with the ultimate goal of sustainably transforming society. So just to explain that a little bit more, I'll focus on values at this individual level because it is an individual's values that then affect a family's values. It's different individuals that form a family, and so it's really important to focus on values at this level. They also affect an organization's values. So different individuals that make up an organization will then form the organization's values. And similarly, it will have an influence on the society's values. So if we want to bring about long-term, or we want to bring about changes in the society or in the values of the society, then we need to work at this individual level, which is what we're proposing in this research. And we're saying that we need the systems view because this is more a complex and a long-term sort of view of what the potential of values-based digital games is. So in terms of how that would work, we're saying that individuals learn values by doing. We learn most things by doing. And what we'd like the games to do is to be able to convey a value. So first of all, somebody needs to be educated about a value. They need to be made aware of this value. And then once you show them the importance of that value, why it's important, then you slowly instill that value. Only once you convey and instill the value can you then encourage them to practice the value. So one of the examples that we've used in this research is the value of saving water. So we're saying first we need to convey to them that saving water is important as a value. Talk about the short supply of water in the world and instill those values, and then let them know how they can practice this. How can you save water on a day-to-day basis? And the more a player practices these values or practices whatever they're learning, then there's transformation. So the player's habits get transformed and a value gets formed. And once that happens, the goal is then to sustain this value. and that will then lead to the sustainable transformation of this individual as well as gradually of the society that they live in. So one of the models that we presented in the paper is this macro level systems view. And I'll just start with the right hand side here. So on the right hand side we can see we have the goal here of sustainable individuals, and we're saying that if you have sustainable individuals in the society, then you have sustainable organizations, because it is these individuals that will be part of these organizations and the same individuals that are part of the society, leading to a sustainable society. On the left-hand side of this model, we have the sources, and we're saying that we need to work on values-based education being the source here, and for that we can have different people. You have your parents, you have teachers, you have peers, you have your friends, all of these different people that can influence your education of values. We also have different activities, so we can have sports activities, we can have school-based activities, we can have activities happening in the community or religious activities. All of these activities will also influence your values-based education. And then the third major source we have here is technology, which comprises quite a few different things, but we're focusing more on the game side of things. And we've divided this into our current digital games, because a lot of our current digital games have violence and aggression, as I shared with you in that first slide. So these will have a negative influence on values-based education, whereas values-based digital games, where we intentionally putting in these positive values that we want individuals to learn, will have a positive influence on values-based education. This will then translate to more sustainable action by individuals and transformation of these individuals. And we're having two different things happening here in parallel. We slowly form these values in the individuals as well as habits. If we're talking about the value of saving water, that becomes second nature, that becomes a habit for you to say every time you see a water leaking somewhere, or every time you see an opportunity to save water, you will go ahead and do that. So that becomes a part of your habits, which then leads to sustainable individuals and closes that loop there. And then on the boundary here, we have different environments that we're saying influence this whole system that we have. We can have things such as our cultural environment. So every region may be slightly different due to the cultural factors. We have the economic environment. Changes there will have an influence on the whole thing. We also have the social environment. And lastly, we have changes that are happening in terms of technologies. Even if we look at games, or if we look at other technologies like reading digital books and so on, there's constantly changes that are happening there. So that's the macro level view. We also presented this micro level view of values-based education. And in the micro level view, we're saying we have these different sources of values. And if we have values-based education here and we're trying to increase the positive values, then if we have positive values coming from these sources, then we would have an increase in those positives. We may also have a decrease in positive values if we have negative values coming from the sources. It can be the same sources, like people. You can have peer influence that can be quite negative. Your own actions and decisions may not be the right ones, influencing that negatively. You may also pick negative values from activities and technology similarly. So this is the micro level view, just drilling down into these sources. And we've proposed in the research that we can instantiate this micro level view to drill down into a specific value and try and see what all the different sources are, what all the different things are that would affect the increase and decrease of that value. So we instantiate the clean water and sanitation value here, and it's displayed here. So this is a micro level view of clean water and sanitation, where we're saying the goal is that we want a higher proportion of the population in the world to have access to clean water, for which we need an increase in the clean water that's available. And for clean water and sanitation activities, we've got a breakdown of all of these different things that lead to an increase in clean water. All of these are from the United Nations website that share the Sustainable Development Goals and that have pointers on how we can work on all those different goals. Similarly, you can have activities that reduce clean water and sanitation. So we took this instantiation, and I think this is where the paper ended in terms of what we presented. But I would also like to share some of the work we've done after this, especially because one of the reviewers did mention sharing the potential possibility of sharing a prototype. Unfortunately, the length of the paper didn't allow us to do that, but I can share that now. So we actually went ahead and built a prototype, and the prototype focuses on water use efficiency in terms of increasing clean water, as well as community awareness of the importance of clean water. So I'll just show you a little demo or a snippet of the prototype. This is the game space that you can see on this page, and we have different scenarios here. We have one scenario here, one that's hiding behind here, and I will just show you one scenario here. So I've got a little video to play. Please let me know if you can hear the sound.
We cannot hear the sound, I think.
You can't hear the sound?
Yeah, we cannot.
Just give me a minute. Okay. So when you are in the game, it will tell you that the value is to save water.
Yeah, so we can see the
And I'm just going to play
game.
that now and see if we can hear it. I think you should be able to hear that now.
Still have no sound yet.
No? I think you can still see the...
Yeah.
So basically, the player has to walk around the space and interact with the different characters, and each one of them has a little scenario on saving water. For this one, for example, there's a tap that's leaking in the background, and a tap that's broken in the background, and she's asked for something to save the water in. Once that's complete, this pops up, and the player gets reminded or gets thanked for saving water or helping save water, and then they also encouraged to practice the value by saying, please be sure to save water in your home. And it says visit the practice level. So you can see there's a practice level here. I'll just quickly show you what's in the practice level. So this is the practice level space that we created within the level in the game. And the idea is to give the player a bit more information. So on the left-hand side, first we will have a video that will play. So there's a little animated video that's catered to the child's level that talks about the importance of saving water and turning off taps. It also has all this information or fun things that the child can do to save water every day. So on the left-hand side we have informational stuff. On the right-hand side we have a bit more interactional stuff. So it asks the player, what have you done today to save water? And if they're out of ideas, they can click on one of these check boxes. But if they wish to share something that they've done, then they can type in the space and save that. And this bit here, we've integrated conversational AI into it. I said this would be linked to the account of the parent or the teacher that would help facilitate this game for the child. And we would get it to prompt the conversational AI and provide an answer that is easy to understand for a child or at the child's level. So you can see that's how it's being framed here. It tells the child, did you know water is super important and we need to take care of it, and then gives them some suggestions of things they can do. So they can spend as much time as they like in this practice level before going back into the game space.
Okay, Ms. Kushbu, sorry, the time is run out. I think that's all for your presentations. I have actually one question on this about your research. Is it any future research for your SDGs research? I think this one is very good. So how is your future research? You will implement, how to implement, and so on. Can you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, that's my next slide coming up. So the game that prototype that I presented to you is just one instance, but because values are so subjective and there are so many in the world, we are actually proposing a platform that people can use to customize whatever type of value they want in that. So it can be for all the different SDGs, it can be for kindness, it can be for all sorts of, it can be religion-related value, anything that is personal to anyone really. That teachers and we're thinking teachers and parents will be the primary users of this platform because they will want the child that they're looking after to learn certain values. So this is what the framework and the architecture. I was just going to share some of that with you, as well as some heuristics that we came up with, design heuristics for whoever was using that platform to create the game, as well as other researchers that want to build similar games. We are proposing these heuristics for them.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Kusdu. I think we are the end of the session for now. Again, give an applause for the Ms. Kusdu. Thank you for the presentation. Okay, I think this is the end of the sessions. Thanks to all of you. See you in the next session. See you. Bye bye.
Professor Dr. Chutiporn, are you interested in teaching the workshop?
เขาต้องมูฟห้องนี้ไปไว้ห้องซัมเมอร์เจ็ตห้องหนึ่ง
Actually, the
เห
last
ลือ
generation
ห้อง
was
เดียวใช่ค่ะ
but she's, I think it was interesting that she went over time in 2 months.
เมื่อวานมีคนหนึ่งน่าจะคนนั้น
Interesting.
กับพี่อาร์ใช่
We had a very great time and she just went over time and she has about 15 minutes but she went
ตัวร้านใหญ่ของโรงแรมของเราจะเป็นตัวเล็กใช่ใช่มีอะไรอยู่ตรงนี้